Okay. Excellent, excellent. Glad I finally got that ironed out. Yeah, I had a important message, and since I'm live streaming from my phone, I decided it would be a grand idea to go and check that message and then hop back in. And it turned out that technically wasn't the best idea. It turned out the message wasn't even that important. So it ended up resulting in a little technical difficulty. So lesson learned. Yeah, don't be checking no messages and getting out of your live stream. That was my fault. Absolutely my fault. So this is, I believe, supposed to be like a little love seat kind of thing, or recliner, or whatever you want to call it. It's over to the side. So this should be interesting to see how it comes together. Once again, we're building like the sides of it, just like we were building the sides of the couch. And like I said last time, I really like the thickness of the kind of armrests on this. Let me get that lined out. Okay. And what's funny is with the exposed like gray here, it almost looks like a dentist chair. I mean, this kind of seems like a threatening chair to me. Let's see. Oh, almost turned it the wrong way. Okay. There we go. The back of it is pretty rough. Just like the back of the, just like the back of the actual couch was pretty rough. I mean, geez. Now, the way that this connects is really funny. If you look, this has a little 1x2 at the bottom of it with little transparent like connectors. And there's an indention left, and I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. And there's an indention left in the floor where that's just gonna like plug directly in just to create like a hardline connection, like straight to the floor. And once again, it just floats over top of the little black studs to give it the illusion that, you know, it's the legs of the chair. So I actually think that's pretty clever, and it works really well. Like it's definitely a solid illusion. All right, so we've got that. And looks like we're going to be doing another, with the very few pieces we have left for this bag, we're going to be doing another little bookcase kind of thing that Jerry has along the floor. There's one thing about it is when I did watch Home Alone after I built the Home Alone house, I paid so much more attention to the layout of the house after having built like a facsimile of it, like a miniaturized version of it. And I can guarantee you I'm going to be paying a whole lot more attention to Jerry's apartment now that I'm doing this miniaturized version of Jerry's apartment. I'm going to be like looking at every little detail a lot more closely. We're building a row of books here. I think it's a row of books. That's absolutely epic because we're going to put so many of these little pieces side by side that it starts to just look like a rainbow of stuff. Let's see. I've always been fascinated by these little pieces. There's something about them that it's always seemed kind of mega blocksy to me. Kind of like roller skates or whatever. I don't know. So that plugged in. Okay. And this is where all those different colors just start getting stacked on top of each other right here. Creates all sorts of crazy stuff. Okay. Then I guess these are all just supposed to be like little books that are stacked on top of each other. Of course, in the show, you'll see a lot of the times there's magazines laying around. Oops. Okay. Okay, and I think we've got a row of books going here. And that should plug in right into the bottom of this. Okay. Got it. So it's funny, I have this piece, and I think it should have gone over here, which is thankfully an easy fix because it's right on the top of this thing. But in these Lego instruction manuals, it's so hard to tell the difference between like these two shades, even though in person it seems really simple and it seems they seem very different, but not so much in the book. You can only print colors so many ways, so. Because I was trying to figure out what was going on, and thankfully I figured it out pretty quick. All right, let's see. See, now that I look back in the instruction manual, it's obvious. But at the time, I didn't have a clue. There we go. Okay, righted that wrong. And now we've got two matching colors. Can go right here. So now we've got a little top for a bookshelf here. Okay. Looking good. What's great is these work perfectly as little drawers. Okay. That plugs into the peg right over here in the corner, and it sets perfectly. It amazes me how well all the little walls and angles work with this so far. Nothing seems compromised about it. All right, and now we have the final bag coming up. Bag number 9, which is the teeniest, tiniest little thing you can imagine right here. Not much to bag number 9. This is the bag of Newman, though. Newman, unlike poor George, actually gets 2 alternative expressions. You have disturbed, angry Newman, just kind of perturbed normally. And then you have what I like, which is evil, laughing Newman. And he is in his faux postal service outfit. Of course, Newman nailing Jerry for mail fraud is still one of the funniest little character bits that he has in the show. And you even get kind of the curly hair bit here for Newman. He looks so diabolical, so evil. Jerry's ultimate foil. Sometimes, oh, and he even comes with a letter. You give Newman a letter. That way he's ready to deliver, what, bad news, we'll say. All right, get that in his hand. He's ready to make the world a worse, better place with his letter. Okay. We'll put Newman off to the side with the other minifigs. Of course, we'll have all of them get in on it here in just a second when everybody kind of returns after this thing is built, because we only have a very few steps left and then we are done. Part of these will be building some of the little stage light support things that go, which are the last things they're going to do, which are kind of like the fourth wall breaking elements of the set. And here's one of the stage lights we're going to build right now, which is just so cool that you're not just building a facsimile of the Seinfeld set. You're also building actual features that would have been present on the set, like the actual stage lights and things that they were using on the show. How cool is that? I think there might be a lot of interest possibly in a Brady Bunch house set. I actually think that's something people would like. I was a pretty big fan of the Brady Bunch when I was a kid. Maybe not as much now, but certainly when I was a kid. So I would probably get in on something like that. Lego would probably panic when they saw just how many minifigs they were committing to. Pretty sure you would have to do the whole family, and you would have to do Alice the maid. So there's really no getting around that. I think that would just be the way it is. If you can't do Alice the maid, you can't do the whole family, then there's no point. Oh, yeah. Especially when I think about the exterior is also, to me, just as kind of iconic as the interior, with the kind of the rock or the stone out in front, and the rest of it's kind of like a ranch house, almost like a ranch style kind of house. I think that's something, we don't have a building like that yet in Lego. Even in the modular builds, there isn't anything quite like that. So I think that would be tremendous, just to have a unique building. I could see just how cool the staircase would be. The whole backyard is AstroTurf in the show. And so, it would be very funny to get, those bright green, Lego base plate kind of look to that backyard. You could do the big staircase. And of course, the kitchen is really, really small in the Brady Bunch. which is perfect for Lego. There's barely, you know, barely any room in it, which I think is something that would be very appealing to the people at Lego. It would be like, oh, it's tiny, it's supposed to be. Let's see. Oh, this is going to turn out cool. Didn't really know what this was supposed to be like till I actually saw it. Yeah, this is pretty cool. See, once you have all the little shutters on there, it really does kind of give you the idea of like one of those studio lights. Oh, and there's one more little shutter at the bottom. Now, I'm surprised it didn't tell me that I needed to build several of these at once, because I thought there would be several, and it looks like there's the pieces for several, but maybe they're slightly different, maybe? I don't know. Guess we'll find out. And that's part of the reason why I guess there's these little clips still up here at the tops. You can see them, the little white clips at the tops of the walls. This light is just going to plug in right here, and you can adjust that how you want. And what's great is that you don't have to keep those on there. You can easily just unclip those if that's a little much for you. For me, the trouble would be the shadows that they cast. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but you can certainly see that with my light on the way it is right now, that you've got a shadow cast over part of the kitchen right there. Like I said, not a huge deal or anything, but you know, it's there. We also have these pieces to kind of create the scaffolding look that's going to be over the set, if you will. The set. And there's also going to be these that you kind of add on to plug off the ends to make it look a little more palatable in the build, where there's not so much exposed. And what's funny is they're really, in this set, there was, I think a decision was made that there just wasn't going to be hardly any kind of exposed Lego studs. I mean, practically, there's almost none anywhere. This is as smooth a set as you can get. And I know there's a lot of different opinions about that. Some people love it when there's exposed studs. Some people hate it. I am completely neutral on it, because I think it depends on your set, and I think it depends on the era. I think there's a charm to either one. I think that the question isn't whether your floor is going to have studs or no studs. I think the question is it good? I mean, did it, I mean, artistically, like, is it valid? Did you do a good job on the build? Is it well designed? I mean, to me, that's a lot more important than, hey, are there studs, or is it just flat surface? Because I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. All right. Then on the side over here, we get one more piece of this like studio scaffolding that would hang lights or do whatever. And here's where they tell us to repeat this type of light over and over and over again. So we're going to do 3 of these all together. And whenever I do like a repeat build, I like to go through and just repeat the steps. That's what I like to do. That way it's not quite as monotonous, because it feels like you're just having to start over from scratch at the very end. So this way you feel like you're just doing the steps as you go. It feels a little more swift this way. I'm still curious why it didn't just tell us to build several of those a minute ago like I thought it should. But there might be something a little different about the way that these studio lights are assembled. I guess we'll find out as we go. Yeah, I think these are a little different. Because I think this is slightly, some of this might be slightly different. Not really sure. These are just the posable kind of arms that they're mounted to, I think. These just look like little joins where the actual light will plug into the top. I do appreciate the detail and the art of the mini build that went into this section, because something like studio lights, I mean brick-built studio lights, it's the kind of thing that a Playmobil or something that would just be like, okay, we're just going to sculpt a new piece and it's just going to go there. But nope, Lego was dead set on making this work as little brick-built pieces, and I do appreciate that in some form. It's pretty neat to actually see this work as completely brick-built little pieces. But they really do. They're cool. I kind of wonder if the Friends sets, do they have like lights on them like this, like fake studio lights? If they do, that's cool. Friends is just not really my thing. You know, it's funny you should ask, because I was just kind of ruminating on that out loud. If that was like something that's in them. You know, what's really funny is that I remember when they did the Lego Studios sets when I was a kid. And so they did like Spider-Man and Jurassic Park 3. And those did have like fourth wall breaking elements to them. Like, you know, there was even the little minifig that Brandon gave me, the other guy on the channel, gave me an extra of his, of the Steven Spielberg looking little director that came in all those sets. That was supposed to be like the Lego director that was directing those movies. So that's kind of what this reminds me of. But the truth is, I don't know if this is in like the Friends sets. Seems like I think that there is something like this in the Friends sets. But I could be wrong. And then they've done some other kind of TV show-based sets recently. But there's nothing like this in, say, like the Home Alone house. That's not at all like what they have in that set, because, you know, that wasn't really filmed on a set. That was an actual house that they were filming in. So it only makes sense that none of that's there, I guess. So we've just made a ton of the little shutters that go around the lights. And we'll attach those to each one of the light fixtures. It's funny, this set is pretty much done. We just got to get the lights up, get our minifigs in there, look at the features, and we'll be ready to call it a day on this, or a night, should I say. I guess it depends on where you are. Whichever one it is. For me, definitely, it'll be calling it a night. Definitely. Oh yeah, another one of those cool little light fixtures. I'm actually surprised by how cool these little light fixtures are. These are pretty neat. I actually thought they would be kind of like little eyesores that would detract from the set. But no, they're actually pretty cool. They bring a little extra level of artistry to it. I have not gotten into the light kits that some people get for Lego sets. Some people, of course, buy the light kits. They light the sets up. That's cool. I like to keep my sets pretty stock. You know, like I want to keep them pretty well, exactly as they would be. But, you know, some people do that. And it kind of makes me wonder with these lights. With a light kit for, say, the Seinfeld set, would they, like, replace these studio lights with a real little bulb in them? Was that part of the light kit? Or is that something that wouldn't be a thing? Some of the light kits I see just make the Lego sets look like monstrosities. Like, they give them all these, like, crazy colored lights, and after a while, I can't even tell what I'm looking at anymore. I am waiting for Lego themselves to officially enter the fray about light kits for Lego sets, because I think they'll do it eventually, because that is a market that, I mean, you can tell it's a big market because they're everywhere. They're not on like Amazon proper, but they're on all those like third-party sellers on Amazon and a bunch of other websites too. And I think after a while, Lego's going to look at that and they're going to say, why aren't we the ones that are receiving this revenue? Like, this is crazy. Why are we giving this away to somebody else when we could do it, and we could do it cheaper and we could do it better? And then if they start officially sanctioning something like that, I don't know. I may be tempted to get into it at that point. That might be the point where I say, you know what? Yeah, let's do some light kits. Let's light up every bit of it. Every set I've got, we're just going to light them all up. uh, oh, okay. All right. I was wondering what I was doing wrong here. Yeah, these don't really clip onto the top bars. They clip onto the interior bars, like down below it. I was trying to figure out what I'd done wrong, and I thought, man, that's not really fitting in there. But yeah, that's a solid connection when you go to the bottom. You just can't. Don't do what I was trying to do, which is going to the top. Don't do what I was trying to do. Okay. Down here. Oop, I missed it. There's another light. And the great thing about these is you can slide them like down the rails, and you can definitely do a custom loadout for what the lighting is going to be like in that scene. Like you can position them differently. You can make them go up and down. So that's cool that at least you have that option. They definitely didn't have to do that. And there's one more on the side. This is for the kitchen. And with that, let's see. Yeah, with that, that completes our set. That's it. All right. Now that we've completed it, it's time to check out all of the cool features. Get all my extra pieces. I know that sometimes people are interested to see just how much you get when it comes to extra pieces and what they are. Let me grab those real quick because I kept my other extra pieces down below, like the table. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate you watching. It meant the world to me. Here's some of the extra pieces that we get. And I think I've got them all rounded up, mostly. Maybe a couple down here. Okay, this is pretty much it. As you can see, this proves what I'm always saying, that Lego will not give large pieces anymore as extras. They'll give some printed pieces. They even have a little extra Superman microfig, you know, which is just the little blue microfig. He's right there. But you can see there's not a lot in the way of extras that you get with these sets anymore. But that's okay. I'm not heartbroken or anything about that. Hey, as long as it includes all the right pieces, I'm happy. All right, so let's take a little tour of Jerry's apartment. Let's bring the camera down to more minifigs level. And yeah, that's a little more palatable a look. I'm also going to bring my light down where you can actually get more, I think, direct lighting for what you would actually see in the set. Let's see, maybe that's a little extreme, but I think it works. And one thing is it came with a microphone stand for Jerry. This is what we started the build with for Jerry to do his comedy set, like at the club. I think this is really cool. It's the most basic little thing you can imagine, but it was neat that they did a little mini build of it. Quick little fact, I didn't seal off the top when I first built this and only figured it out after I did that first part. So if you're going back and watching all this and you're like, where did that piece come from? Yeah, I forgot about it. So you can also just take the microphone, and I'm just going to lay it down over here. All right, let's get that out of the way. Looking in the actual apartment, you can see that there's all the little details you would expect from Jerry's apartment. You've got the little bookcase. You got, I believe, Uncle Leo over there on the picture. You've got so much cool stuff. You have all the little knickknacks in Jerry's bookcase. You have a little table back here, a little nook for you to eat at. You've got several different doors and lots of great hallway details in there. You can see Kramer's apartment across, and there's a bicycle even in the hallway. And what's great is they actually built out part of the hallway there to where there's a great illusion that the hallway just goes on and on. Probably my favorite area is the kitchen. I've always liked this part of Jerry's apartment the most in the show, too. It's always been because of these funny shelves with everything just stacked up. It's always interesting. It's to the point to where I don't pay much attention to what Jerry's doing in those scenes. And I'm always looking up above his head at all the different boxes stacked up there. And there's like baseball card boxes and cereal boxes. It's everything you can imagine. It's also super funny that the Tidy Whitey's George picture ended up over here. And this paper towel roll, that's fantastic, done in minifig scale. The whole range, the oven right there, it all looks great. It's sad that you wouldn't really be able to see all of the details on the other side because you would have to turn it, but it really is cool. I love that we have the bar stools. That's accurate. The refrigerator, even though you can't open it or anything like that, looks so great. And the Larry David sticker there on the front is so fantastic. And the Superman sticker, I'm really loving that. One area that I don't think will get a whole lot of love because it's so much, off to the side is a little office area over here. And it's a really cool area. So it's kind of a shame that it's sort of so crammed in there. But you can see the chair, you can see the air conditioning unit, the cool computer, little desk lamp, just lots of cool little details in there, little air units in the bottom, little heating unit. So I'm glad that all of that's there as well. One area that we didn't get to look at very much because we kind of built it and just moved on was this area. So if you open it up, kind of just gives you another little look and kind of like some more space back there. There's a door right over here that can open as well. But there's nothing else really to look at in that area. It's really just more of a, like, I don't know, it's more like a faux kind of area. There's nothing very real about it. Let's go ahead and let's get some of the characters into the set. I'm gonna have to ditch some of their accessories so that they're more workable in the area. I still can't get over that they went with such an angry expression for George. This must be George right after one of his bosses fires him. I think that's reasonable. We're going to take the fish and we're just going to put it on the bookshelf right there. Whoops, not like that. The fish won't last like that. Okay, there it is. Then, of course, here's Elaine. I have her angry, kind of confused face. Let's cheer Elaine up. I think there we go, Elaine. Let's get you going here. Now, I really am hoping for another Seinfeld set so that we can get early 90s Elaine with like the flowery dress and the other hair. I think that would be great. You could probably rig that up yourself. Let's have Elaine, let's have her sitting here at the couch. And let's see, with this stud, is that enough to where it will hook into her leg? Let's see, yes, she can actually like anchor herself to the couch there. And of course, we've got Jerry here. I know that he also comes with, I don't know about that, kind of Jerry Seinfeld face as well. If we do get another set, it would also be fun to get a non-mullet Jerry to be more representative of some of the early parts of the show. But I do love that we got the mullet first. Let's see if we can anchor him in there. Yes, Jerry and Elaine, we're going to ship them pretty hard here. We're going to have Newman coming in as if he is there to ruin Jerry's day. He's going to be sneaking in. And, of course, we're going to say that Kramer is over here trying to find food in Jerry's refrigerator. So he is trying to get away with getting some food there. And then we're going to have George ranting about how the Summer of George didn't work out. And I don't know about you all, but the Summer of George is one of the greatest episodes, one of the greatest kind of TV sagas I have ever seen, where all of George's dreams are absolutely dashed. Okay, there's George. He's got his arms up, ranting. Let's have them kind of looking over towards him here. All right. Yeah. And so, zooming out just a little bit. And we're also going to take the ultimate book, the coffee table book. We're going to put it on the coffee table. I mean, who would have thought, right? Coffee table book on the coffee table. I mean, this is pretty great, I gotta say. As a huge fan of Seinfeld ever since I was very young, this is momentous to actually even see this come together. This is so cool. I'm so glad that this happened. It's hard to believe that Lego put this kind of love and this kind of care. I mean, Yeah, it's truly great just to see it all come together and it all work out so well. There's so much love in this set, and as a fan, this is, I mean, it's everything you could hope for, right? And I've got to reenact just a couple of things because you've got to have it to where what Kramer is like, oh, he comes in and does, oh. I mean, he's always, halfway bursting in through the front door. So we got to have, and you know what I like is there's the cool little sticker on the side that actually works as the buzzer for Jerry to buzz people into the apartment. That's pretty cool. So we got this, and I think I had mistakenly referred to this as the hallway a second ago. This is the entryway right here. Okay, there's these Kramer's coming in. We have Jerry. Of course, we got to have him on the phone with some sort of horrible misunderstanding. A lot of misunderstandings on this phone all throughout the series. Jerry's never usually that happy when he's on the phone in the show. So we got to have him doing his kind of pensive kind of, right there. There we go. He's kind of a little upset. And let's be honest, even though I put Elaine with the happy face, I mean, let's be real. Elaine's usually making this face in the show. Things aren't going Elaine's way. We're going to have her, she's going to be standing on the couch. She's going to be, just for fun. I don't know. It makes sense to me. And then with George, we're going to have him sitting in the floor. And this is when he's asking Jerry about what he could do for a living after he gets himself fired from his job. This is in the episode where he's like, I could be a teacher. I've always wanted to teach. Jerry's like, I think you got to go to college for that. Oh, man. Then Newman, we're going to have Newman a little more upset. Things didn't work out with Newman's latest scheme. So we're going to have him very angry over here in the background. I mean, just the amount of character you can get from these minifigs are just incredible. And what's great is you can already see with the way that my camera is angled, there's enough room to do some really convincing photography to where even as I move my camera around, it's hard to tell that this isn't like a fully built environment when really, zooming out, it's just half. But of course, that's the way it was on the set of the TV show. So I can't say enough good things about this. I love that Jerry's bicycle is in his hallway over there. It's just so much fun. Yeah, I just can't say enough. It's so cool that you can see, oops, sorry, George. It's not I guess that's how the summer of George ended, right? With George falling down the stairs. It's so cool that you can see Kramer's apartment across the hall right there. I mean, how neat is that? That is so awesome. Well, I could sit here and just go on and on about this. I guess that we should look real quick at what the outside, like the kind of faux exterior looks like. It's extremely unfinished. They don't even seal this off on the back. This is the fake hallway that doesn't really go to anywhere. This is the room that I guess this door is supposed to lead to Jerry's bedroom. And this is supposed to be where Kramer's apartment comes out at. I will say, and I don't want to get anybody's hopes up here, but I want you to look at a little something right here. You see that? This is the only part that really does this, that has open studs. And sure enough, it's the part that leads to Kramer's apartment. How long until we get that Kramer's apartment set that would actually plug in right here? And I really do think it's a possibility, or else I really don't think they would have just left that open like that. I think it's a possibility. I really do. Right here, we got the back of the kitchen, how it looks from the other side. Nothing to write home about with the exterior, if you can even call it that. But goodness gracious, how much fun was this? Love it, love it, love it. Sorry about the little technical difficulty earlier. We got it lined out with an extra little live stream part that we've tacked on. But sure enough, we pretty well done this in the original kind of 3 parts format, even if we had to tack on an extra part at the end there that I had planned on doing it in. It was a lot of fun. It was breezy. It was just very entertaining. I got a lot out of it. Hope you all did too. Of course, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Of course, you don't want to miss out on any of the other LEGO live streams I have coming out. It really isn't like a money grab, like, oh, the channel has to get 1 billion subscribers thing for me. It's more about just kind of just hanging out with you guys on YouTube and just having fun while we build, Lego sets. It's just, that's all it is. It's sincerely just me just wanting to just talk and build Lego sets. And so I love it. And I sure do thank you guys for being a part of it. This has been a really enjoyable process. And yeah, we have plenty of other Lego sets we can look at. Definitely be building many more over the next few days. Yeah, you have a great night, man. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. Everybody take care. God bless you all. Fanboy out.